sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Watch me hit him with this 1-2 knockout KO. What is up, everybody? How you doing? Thank you for tuning into 5-Star Fridays. Like the song said, sit back and relax and enjoy the show because we have a full cast here. It's about to be live. All right. I'm excited about this one because, for one, I've been working with all these guys for about 3 years now, maybe even more. And this is the first time that we've all been in one group chat like this, face to face. So I think it's going to be fun. I'm excited. So I'm going to hop right into it. Okay. We're going to get the guests in here one by one. I'm going to give them a little intro, bring them in. First off, we got making his third appearance to the show. He was on last week, Mr. Fish Lee. What is up?
What's
What
up,
is
Mike?
up, buddy?
Glad to be here.
Yes, I am glad to have you on here. Always a pleasure, sir. The man. Next off, we got my guy, Eric Bennett, who is second time on here. What's up, Eric?
Hey, Tony. Hey, Fish.
There he is.
This guy right
Good to
here,
see you,
I
man.
mean,
Glad you're here.
this is the guy you need in your corner. If he's not in your corner, you need to get him in your
Absolutely.
corner. Next, we have a man covered in mystery. Man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Roy Johnson, Freedom Justice League of America.
Oh, I didn't see you there.
Oh, hey,
There he
what's up? Glad we could borrow you for the
No
show.
problem.
So, Fish Lee, just
Yo.
in case the viewers don't know who you are, even though you've been on here, why don't you tell them just a little bit about yourself?
I'm an artist extraordinaire. I've published my own comic, and since I did it, I have been mostly working for y'all, doing y'all's comics, and it's been good work. I've illustrated 5-Star, several issues of the Sentinels, colored the last issue of Power Company, and I'm illustrating the current issue right now, and life is good.
Life
Living
is
dream.
good. Roy is keeping you definitely busy.
Yeah.
What up, Rodney? What is going on, buddy?
Not much, man. How's it going?
It is going. Glad you can make it onto the show. Eric, why don't you
Hey.
tell them a little bit about yourself, man? Who are you? Who is this guy, Eric, that we talk about on every episode at least once?
Yeah. I'm just a comic book guy like everybody, like the rest of you.
And you're the creator of...
I'm the creator of Steel Wolf, Tyrannus the Thunderlord. I letter a bunch of stuff from time to time. That's about it in a nutshell.
And he's the most humble, modest guy there is. He's
Letters just about all of the comics. and
I mean, I
I think
dabble
Warren
in-
and Francesco had me beat there.
I dabble in lettering.
a little bit.
I
here and there.
create some, Steel Wolf. Just one of the,
I've drawn a
cool
superhero,
character.
every once in a while, here and there.
Roy Johnson. Tell him who you are, buddy.
Who, me?
Yes, you.
I'm
Because I
at
don't even
least-
know who you are. I mean, you.
I'm at least 10 times better than Eric is because
He's not wrong.
I do not rank modesty among the virtues. I don't think that's, really good. I publish through an imprint or whatever you want to call it called Standard Comics. Primary title is The Sentinels, which is a collection of sort of updated public domain characters alongside my own. And I've got, I think, 4 Kickstarters planned for the year.
Man, 4
Busy man.
Kickstarters planned for the year. Dude,
Machine.
you are a machine when it comes to just cranking out material. And you keep Fish very busy. In fact,
See
I
us.
got to be like, hey, can I borrow you for this? And he'll always say, I can't. I'm doing this for Roy. And I'm
I have to pay his mortgage.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right, Rodney's just joining us, man. Tell them who you are, buddy.
Man, I don't know. No. So Rodney Lockett, Iron Gate Comics. Killer Whale is my contribution to Power Company. Been doing this now for about I think 2004. I think me and the wife is when we kind of launched it, Iron Gate, and then we do a lot of shows, but obviously not the past year and a half since pretty much all of them been canceled. But I've got 3 lined up for the remainder of this year, so hopefully they'll still happen. And yeah, but we got All Winter Society, we got Guardians Creation, and Iron Gate Universe 1 through 7's almost done, and then 8 is almost done also. So
Yeah.
So
see-
we're looking forward to that All Winter Society.
Rodney's another busy guy, okay? And if he's not, and I will say this right now about Rodney, if he is not working on his own stuff, he is busy supporting Kickstarters, okay? Because I get an email every time this guy supports a Kickstarter, and it's like, it's all the time, all right? And that's I mean, that's what as an indie community, that's what we got to do, right? And I got to say kudos to you on that because, dude, you support a lot of people's Kickstarters.
hey man, you got to put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, you do it. You do it well. Just joining us. He just got off of work. We pushed it back just for this guy. We usually go at 7, but he's like, I won't make it at 7. I said, well, then we'll push it back at 8 because I got to have you on here. Dan the man, what is up, buddy? Tell him who you are. Good to see you on here.
Hey guys, I'm Dan Hoynes. I'm the creator of Thunder Woman. That's my big thing, like everyone knows me for. I got a lot of other little things, but everyone who knows me for Thunder Woman.
Yes.
Also did the editing on issue 3 of FiveStar and worked with Tony on the next issue as well.
Yes.
And let's see, Carlos isn't on here, but I'm also going to be doing some stuff with him as well on some stuff. And I will be doing some writing in the future for a power company.
Yeah. So you brought it up. You brought it up. Power Company. That's what we're here for. A project that me and Carlos kind of started in this little. It started from comments on another page. We started commenting back and forth, and then all of a sudden, boom! We start this thing. Roy and Rodney were like, bam! I think the first people to join with us, and then who else? Who was the original? I know we've had a few members come and go, but
Chris, and oh man,
Joe Davis,
yes,
Joe Davis,
yeah,
Dorfies.
John Jones, who's still a
Yes.
current member, right?
yes.
So Roy, this is for you, buddy, because I'm gonna be asking you a lot of questions because I don't see you often. So I'm excited to get you on here.
Nobody sees him very often.
That's what I'm saying. You're a guy that's not seen very often. What's one of the things that kind of intrigued your interest at first about starting something like Power Company?
Well, I think originally it wasn't even a comic. It was just, I think it was a commission or something of let's put a bunch of characters together, and then it became like, well, let's put a comic out, and it's, many hands make light work. Why, we've all sort of published or written on our own, and know that how much work goes into getting a comic out the door. Well, Fish does all the hard work, but I just write the things. And so, when you've got 8 people together, it should be relatively straightforward to do that. Plus, you're able to sort of leverage, I guess, the popularity of the creators and their characters to put your own out into light and hopefully, grow your own audience along with that of the group, right? So I think that was the primary thing, which, like, I just picked a character almost at random, I think, was Crimson Streak, sure, whatever, I don't know. And so
No, are you kidding? It wasn't by random. Carlos asked me if I knew anybody who had a speedster, and that's why I said,
was it?
hey, you got to contact Roy.
Ah, nice. See,
Because
I
he
like
was trying
that,
to use
yeah.
the Justice League formula.
That's the template,
He was like,
yeah.
we got to have a speedster. I was
Okay.
like, I know the man. I know the guy.
Yeah. Okay. That's nice.
I
I
know
see.
it.
That's a
So-
little. That's the kind of little gold I'm trying to get out today. So if it wasn't for Rodney being like, "Yo, I know a guy," we might not have had Roy Johnson in this thing called Power Company. Carlos is commenting on here like a madman. He said he's restarting his computer, trying to figure it out, and he named John Jones, Jermaine Christmas, which I forgot was one of the originals, and then Dorothy's also. She brought in Spirit.
Yeah.
Spirit Destiny. So we had a, and then we lost Chris and Joe were the first two to leave, and that left us with what we had. And
Yeah, Dorothy actually replaced those two.
yeah. Oh, did she? Okay. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right about that. There he is. Look at Carlos.
I'm here, but I'm on my phone. So,
Hey, dude, it's all good, bro. You're here.
Don't feel bad, Soma.
That's what counts. That's what counts. Looking cool with the shades, bro. I see you.
thank you. It's a little bit of the allergies. So,
Okay. Okay.
I prefer not to go bug-eyed on this.
All right. Carlos, tell the people who you are, man. What is it that you do?
So, Champion Comics, I've been at it since the 90s, actually since the 80s, but the 90s was when I hooked up with an artist that you guys know, Jason Metcalf, and started creating a lot of the characters that a lot of you guys like Fish has worked on, quite a few of them. American Revere is my flagship title, and right now I'm gearing up for the Remarkables, and Dan's going to be doing the editing on that. And yeah, I'm just excited about it. June 3rd, it launches, and hopefully it's going to cross the finish line.
I'm sure it will, man. If everybody knows, you are a media guru as far as promoting stuff, so I'm sure you'll have no problem with getting the word out there. Speaking of Power Company, we was just talking about how this thing, came into play, and as I can remember, it was actually I commented on the original Remarkables, a pinup that was posted, and I was trying to say, hey, you guys need a 5-star. You guys need 5-star. And then it was like, nah, we don't want that guy in there.
Yeah.
So
It
at
was
the time,
ICC, man, and
yeah.
And Travius was posting the stuff that he was doing with Remarkables, and he didn't want to expand. I wanted to have people come in and expand the group. He didn't want to take it outside of that 5. So then you and I started talking and saying, then let's do our own thing.
Yep.
And we put the little ad out in ICC, and then that's when the guys started saying, hey, I want in.
Yeah.
And we just it kind of came together, and then we built that little, which still we don't really visit that one, but the original Power Company Coalition Comics, the little room that we had, and we just got together and said, let's kind of vote and talk about how we're going to go about doing this. I know the very first thing we talked about was that it was going to be a Kickstarter thing. And from that point, everybody just kind of chipped in their own ideas. And here we are 5 years later.
5 years. Okay. I said 3. So I guess it's been
it's
5 whole years.
2016. So we are 1 month next month. So
Nice.
Actually, a few weeks, it'll be our 5th anniversary. And I want to do something special with that.
That would be nice, bro. That would be nice to do something. I did not realize it's been 5 years already.
Oh yeah, 5 years.
Making me feel old, man. I feel so old. Not as old.
Tony, you joined. Tony, what were you, about 16 when you joined Power Company? I think of something like that.
Yeah. I think I was. Yeah, I was. I was still living in my mom's house. No, I'm kidding. No, yeah, I was. Let's see, 5 years ago, I was 26, so I was a young buck. I didn't even have 5-star 1 out yet. just kind of jumping into the comic book world. And all of you guys were all the veterans at the time. You guys have been in there my whole lifespan, because you can see some of the gray beards on the top row there. And so I
Feeling the
learned a
love.
lot from you guys.
Thank you. Feeling the love.
I learned a lot from you guys early on, man. You guys definitely, poured your knowledge into me, and I was able to. It was nice to be part of a group to where I could just, take a little insight from everybody. So that's one of the good things that
Hey, you're not the only young buck here.
You said what?
You're not the only young buck here.
Dan, how old are you, man?
We're the same age.
I didn't know that, bro. I didn't know that. I thought you were younger than me. Just kidding. I didn't know how old you were. I didn't know. Roy Johnson. You are somebody we talk about probably every episode, because when it comes to cranking out Kickstarters, you're someone I look at like, man, one day, I'm like a little kid looking up, one day, I'm going to be like that guy. One day,
sad dream, Tony.
One day I'm going to be like that guy when it comes to creating Kickstarters. What's your process with that, bro? Like what, all of a sudden you just got the ball rolling. What was the thought process behind that? What's your strategy? I guess I should say. What's your strategy in going behind the Kickstarters? And just tell them, because when you first started, your first Kickstarter, was it a success or no? Your very first one.
I think the first one failed.
Okay.
And then I just retooled and re-advertised and tried to build up an audience again. And I think I probably lowered the goal. Like with Kickstarters and with social media and whatever, I was never interested. It never occurred to me to publish a comic, right? So it was until like 2015 or something when I did the Standard Comics Encyclopedia, and then I figured, well, I could do like a real comic, and I figured in order to grow a social media audience, it's not going to be go on Monday and by Friday you're going to have 1,000 people following you. It's going to be a long view and a long haul, right? So
yeah, for sure.
I tried to get on like Facebook and Twitter and all that shit to try to get the product known, as it were. And then when I think I launched the first Kickstarter, and I think it failed. I think I lowered the goal because I had no expectation of doing anything but break even, ideally. Even if I lost money, a couple $100 or whatever, I didn't really care because I was trying to take the long view, right?
Yeah.
So, and because it's a continuing series and it's one title, once you do one, it's almost a copy and paste to do two, and you just improve the page as you go along. Like the actual Kickstarter page is easy. It's a copy and paste and throw the new books in and try to improve it. If somebody gives you feedback on, I wasn't clear on what the rewards were, you fix that in the next one. So the actual Kickstarter page strategy is pretty much go with what works and do it again. And so this current campaign that I'm on, I think the goal was $3,000 Canadian. Everything's, because all you guys are in the States, you just do it in US. I got to convert the thing with the stuff and hope that the rate doesn't flip on me and I get screwed. So the goal was $3,000. I'm in at 48.20 or something, right? So it's a bit of a ways from the first one that failed.
Yeah.
And I think the second one failed. I think maybe even the third one failed. I don't know. But it was just a matter of, retool, relaunch, regrow, try to get, more people basically getting eyes on the product, right? That's the hard,
right.
The hard part is just to get attention, because I find myself going through Facebook and scrolling past, oh, that looks cool. Scroll,
Mm-hmm.
And it's
But
not
they can go check it out. That's a whole
yeah. I mean, it's like a whim thing of whatever your mood is the moment that happens to come across your screen. So it's a matter of repetition, really. And if you think you're spamming, you're probably not, because like nobody sees stuff.
Hey,
like fleets across your screen and then it's gone from your feed. And
right.
Hey, Roy, I was always curious, when you use Kablam, does that end up helping you since you live in Canada? It helps you with the shipping, because obviously they're sending everything out in the United States.
Well, yeah, because they're sending direct to the backers, so it wouldn't make any sense for them to ship 100 comics to me in Canada, and then for me to take them out, repackage.
I
them,
just
and
didn't know
ship
if there was
them.
like taxes that you ended up being a Canadian. If they went up and said, "Oh, well, you're in Canada, we have to pay some sort of tax or something."
No,
like that.
it's nothing
I
like
didn't know how
that.
it
It
worked.
was just a matter of the shipping costs are killer enough to start with.
Yes.
And most of the backers I get are from the States. So it would make no sense to ship it to me in Canada or for me to print them in Canada and then ship them down to the US when they can ship them for $5 or $6 a piece, right?
So what you're saying is you're never going to offer a tier where you're signing the books?
I don't know.
You're going to be like, if I sign the
You
books, it's
can.
going to
They'll
cost you
ship you the
$30.
covers. You can
Well,
sign
that's
them
the
and
thing,
ship
right?
them
The
back.
shipping would be ridiculous.
Right.
Unless it was like, I don't know. I'd have to get them printed, I guess, in Canada, sign them and ship them from here. So
Kablam will send you the covers. Like they'll print all the covers and ship it to you, and then you could sign them and ship
they'll
them
bind
back,
it all.
and then they'll print the rest of them up and put them together.
yeah,
I didn't know they did that, but I saw it on one of their videos,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Well, that's
That sounds like a bit of a
Or we
process.
just all get together and
oh
go
yeah,
to
it's the whole
convention,
process." But
sign it.
for people that want to do that,
All right. So
my dumb self just ships everything to the UK and Canada and stuff myself. I wish I had a Kablam in the UK. I would definitely
That's
send them
my
a file.
hobby
And let them-
horses. I want one in Australia. I want one in Europe somewhere, and but
One in
Barry
Australia.
doesn't seem to want to
one-
shell out the money for like 3 more on different continents. Bastard.
yeah, that would be beautiful, man, if he was able to do that. I'm gonna share the screen, one of my screens real quick, and just show off this first cover of Power Company. One of my favorites, I gotta say. I mean, this is one of my favorites. You can see all these characters here. So I'm gonna go around the room here, besides you, Fish, because you don't have a character in there. You just do the beautiful art. But let's go with Eric. Eric,
I just make them pretty.
Eric, you came in after issue 1, right? You came in for issue 2, and what character? Tell the people what character you brought to the table and why that was a character that you decided to choose for the Power Company.
Well, we bought into the guest star tier. Dan and I did, and then we together we brought a friend of ours, Kuong, in his character Midnight Owl. Just because the three of us tend to,
Trinity.
our 3 guys look good together, so we keep them together.
Absolutely.
And I just picked Steel Wolf because he's my flagship guy. He's the guy I'm trying to get out there the most.
And he looks badass.
Yes.
Don't forget that. Let's not
He
forget
looked
that.
goofy when I first designed him in 1986, but he looks better now.
So Dan, I mean, your story is kind of similar with Eric. You got, like he said, you guys came in together. I loved the part you guys shared in Power Company 1. And then it was just, obviously it was like, yo, we need members. Let's get these guys in. I hadn't met you guys, not really. We hadn't talked too much before you joined Power Company, but the rest of the group seemed to kind of have known you, and it was a perfect fit. Dan, was you hesitant to join Power Company right away, like when you was first offered, or was it like a no-brainer for you?
There was a little hesitancy there because, bear in mind, I didn't really become active on the Facebook groups like ICC until 2017.
Yeah.
Which was about when that first Kickstarter was going. So I was kind of new and I really didn't know a whole lot of the people, and a lot of people had like seen some of the stuff I had shared about Thunder Woman, both her older look where she was kind of a bit more Caucasian looking, and then the updated look that I did with Trent Matero, where she was a bit darker skin and the Thunderbolt was a little more distinct and original.
Mm-hmm.
And I had gotten offers from various groups and people being like, hey, that's a cool character. I want you to join my universe and such. And
Yeah.
I was kind of like, oh, I'm not sure yet. It's like I don't really know a whole lot of people. So I'm very, by default, very cautious and careful about what I do.
Yeah.
But when Carlos came and offered it, he went at it a bit differently than some of these other people that had offered me the offers. And I had a sense it's like, I can trust Carlos in a way that I can't these other people. Plus, there's Eric, there's you, and Rodney, and Roy. And I was looking at you guys and like, this is a good group. You see, like most of these offers were just one guy. One guy coming to me. And there was like nobody else involved. And when it's like one guy coming to you, it's kind of like, are you playing a game with me or not? You know,
Right.
I've dealt with people like these before.
Or are they ever going to release anything?
So
It's a game, but being able to pull it off is a different thing.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. So seeing that there's already like a group involved and a bunch of guys that either I knew or I could, felt reasonably trustable about, it's like, okay, this is good. And so far it's been pretty good. So I've been very happy with the whole arrangement and whatnot so far.
Awesome. And you bring that strong female character to the group.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about it is like I come from DeviantArt, which is where I originally created Thunder Woman, and that's how I met Eric and a few other people. Over there, like the super popular superhero original characters and whatnot, typically are female, and they usually cater like specific like niches or interests of a more prurient nature, if you will. But generally speaking, it's like female characters that are really popular. It's not just boobs, Roy. It's a little more specific than just that. Superwoman. Look at that. That's an idea of a character that's typically popular around there, or they're very anime-like. But anyway, point is, DeviantArt, most popular characters are female. So it's kind of interesting going to ICC and the Facebook groups, and overwhelmingly, a lot of the popular characters are male. Is the one thing I know. It's kind of interesting contrast between the different sites. So I'm very glad in many ways that I've got like a star character who's female, because that allows me to contribute something in a otherwise predominantly male, character type setting, and I'm still noticing so many male characters in so many of these like different groups and settings and whatnot. So it's kind of like makes you feel great. It's like, hey, look, what I got something special here. I got something y'all don't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you see that in a lot of groups, though. I mean, even in the big two, Justice League, you had for a while it was just Wonder Woman, and then I'm thinking cartoon wise, you had you had Wonder Woman and you had Hawk Girl. You know what I mean? Like I think people see that like it's like a formula that was followed for so long. You know what I mean? It's like let's have 4 guys, 1 girl, or make sure we throw at least one. What's the word I'm looking for? Let's minority in there. You know what I mean? Like that was a formula for comics for so long with some of these teams, and I think maybe some people just
comics.
What'd you say?
As 7 white guys talk about comics.
Right. Well,
oh gosh, you look at like Super Friends.
And
it's like all of the male characters are the same. Green Lantern, Flash, Superman, Batman, they're all the same. The only really distinct characters are characters like Wonder Woman, Robin, and Black Vulcan.
Yeah. Roy, commenting on your comment there, buddy. I'm not the one who picked who was in the power company, buddy. I'm not the one who picked the creators to be in here. So this is what I got.
We have a more diverse cast of characters than we do cast of creators.
That's true. That is very true. Rodney, let's get straight to you, buddy. Tell them about your character that's in Power Company. And for you, when Carlos first approached you, what was your thought process behind it? Was you 100% in, or was you like, eh?
No, I think what it was, I seen the post, and I think Carlos, it was almost like a cold call. It was kind of thrown out there like, hey, we're thinking about doing this. Is anybody interested?
Yeah.
And I think I chimed in, and Carlos had hit me up. He was talking to me. He was like, well, what are you thinking? And I've always been the process of man, I take pride in the fact that I've got a ton of characters, and I didn't want to be pigeonholed to just one character. So I knew Killer Whale was probably my most well-known character.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, man, I don't want to be to where I'm just known for Killer Whale and nothing else. I want to get my other characters out there. And so I'll be honest, I was reluctant. And like I was saying earlier, when Carlos was talking to me about it, he was kind of telling me he wanted to get kind of a Justice League feel to where you had those power sets kind of like that.
Yeah.
And, Killer Whale fills in the Aquaman role, you could say, just like when he asked me if I knew anybody that had a speedster, and I told him about Roy and Crimson Streak, and he's like, "Oh, great, we'll get a hold of him." And so Carlos had a vision on how he wanted the team to kind of round out to where he didn't want to have characters were all the same, had the same power sets.
Well, yeah,
everything had to be a little bit different and stuff like that, which was smart. And I know initially when we talked about it, we talked about, how long do we keep our characters in? How long do our characters, before we rotate them out? And so there's been talk about that, about, how long do you keep one of these characters out of your universe before all of a sudden people start missing them? But then at the same time, you kind of have that problem where, man, if I go off and if I take them out, then does it become unstable? Does it become a situation that, people are going, well, I don't even know this group anymore,
Yeah.
So it's a catch-22 without a doubt. But I face that because I'm working on Guardians of Creation 2, which Killer Whale is a member of that. And I'm like, all right, so what do I do here? Do I not write him in the book at all? Do I just leave him out because he's technically away with Power Company? Or do I put him in there and act like this is happening at a different time? Plus, you throw in the fact that Killer Whale's technically married to American Justice. So after a while, she's going to go, where the hell's my husband?
Right. Yeah. Joe Davis said Killer Whale is such a cool character. So Joe Davis is a Killer Whale fan.
Killer Whale killed him last time I talked to him a couple months back on City of Heroes. City of Heroes has got an architect deal where people can make their own mission.
Yeah.
And I'm friends with the guy that made the mission. So he made Killer Whale. I already had Killer Whale in the game. He made him, and so he was one of the bad guys you end up fighting. Joe goes, Killer Whale just killed me the other day. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't played that one. I kind of got back into the DC game that's, I guess, similar to that.
Yeah.
I've just it's been hard finding time to play, and I feel like you got to be on the grind on those games to level up. I'm coming to find out. I'm like, I go down the street in Gotham and I'm getting killed every 5 seconds.
Hey, you, in all seriousness, you need to try City Heroes. They've got a thing that allows you, and it doesn't cost anything. It's a double XP part, so it allows you to level faster. So you can try out the power, stuff like that. I'm telling you, if you ever decide to do it, I'll let you know what server I'm on. I'll show you the ropes.
All right. I'll keep that in mind.
I made a steel wolf character, but I haven't had any luck getting Eric to play yet.
Well, I've got him in the DC game, and for all the more I play it, it's pretty good. It's good enough.
Yeah, I know, Eric. Me and you was talking about trying to hop on there, and Joe Davis just reached out to me last weekend and wants to hop on there and play. So I really got to carve out some time on the weekend or in the evenings to make that happen, because I want to get on there with you guys. I think it'll be fun. Roy, tell them about the character that you put in Power Company, and was you hesitant at first to join, or was it like, yeah, I went in?
Well, I guess the hero character is Crimson Streak, who's like a speedster, but not really. And at first, I think, like I say, it wasn't my understanding that it was going to be a comic. It was just, hey, this is for fun. And then it was a comic. It was like, okay, I mean, I'm not writing it. I don't have to really do anything. So I get a character in it. So that's fine. And the main villain, or the leader of the group of villains in the first 2 issues, was Cyberilla, which is like a cybernetic gorilla character that apparently has been created many times before. Apparently, but so that was kind of cool to see that happen, and I think that ended up being the actual real life first appearance of both characters. So I didn't really have any hesitancy to get in on it.
Okay. Both your characters are dope, and I think it's funny that you're the one. I said Power Company, but you're the only one to bring up the villain that you brought to the group.
Villains drive the story, baby.
Yeah, and Damage Inc. come on, that's a dope group of villains right there. I mean, let me see. I think I got the picture over here of the originals. Let me hold on one second here.
Looks like you had a ponytail there, Tony. You should look into that.
Look at a ponytail? Nah, man.
No, the back of your chair. It looks like a ponytail.
Oh, yeah. There it is. Man, look at that group right there. Look at that art. That's sick.
I love that art.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sure.
that's
Art.
That's beautiful right there. I think that's really
Joe Korea.
I think for me, that strong villain group that we had was eye catching. More, I mean, not that the superhero group wasn't, but when you get them villains together and they just look so menacing, and then you have Cyberella, who's the leader, who just is, super badass character for one.
John Price is an awesome looking character. I love him.
I love, him and FiveStar facing off. We've had 2 pinups of just them two. I just love the character, and I think when you have him leading the group and everybody's able to take some of their toys and put into the project, it just makes for something so much fun. Carlos, like I was saying, me and you, we kind of started this bad boy. We were, message each other, and then all of a sudden, boom, we got members in. We started a group chat, and it just started coming into place. I mean, we had a few members that were in at the beginning that left kind of early on, but we picked up Dorfease and brought her in. For you, man, I mean, what was you just overall some excitement in that? Was you just happy to be like, okay, did you know that it would spawn into something like it is now?
No, because I didn't think it was going to actually work. Because you were in ICC, all of you guys for the most part.
Yeah.
In ICC, and this thing was a dime a dozen. We had every day somebody throwing out their collaborations, and then they would throw a promo, and then you would hear something else from it. It just So my hope was for it to continue. Didn't know it was going to. Had no idea that 5 years later it'd still be going, but when we did, it was just you and I, and then we added everybody. Joe Davis, who we were talking about, was one of the originals. Want to throw that out there, along with Chris Tomasma, and they did leave early, but they still were technically a part of the group, and their characters were in the first Kevin Chapman. Rodney brought up about the Justice League when he was the first person to actually do the promo art for us. And the first thing I did, I told him was, I want you to draw this so it looks kind of like the Justice League. And he did a great job on that piece. But yeah, that was the first time. I didn't think it was going to work, but I kind of got that feeling once we all because we came through and we kind of banged out all of the tales really quickly. And so I was kind of at that point when I was like, this might work. And don't forget, we did have Jermaine Christmas as well.
Yeah, I did mention him when you had restarted your computer, and I went back and looked at the comments and remembered that Jermaine was in there.
Yeah, Forecast.
Forecast, another just dope looking character, right? I mean, he's an eye catcher character for sure. And I think that was what was unique about the group starting off, and that's what intrigued people to kind of support it. Is we had so many eye-catching characters in one group
Yeah.
starting off. I mean, you had just, and then like you said, it wasn't something that was really being done like that as far as to that next step, right?
Yep.
We took just that one more step that a lot of people were stopping at. They'd get together. They probably had the group in. They were talking. Oh, let's do this. Let's do that. They get a pinup done, and then boom, that was the end of it, right?
Then it fell apart.
And then it falls apart
Again.
Well, you know, we got a good group of guys that don't have huge egos, and that goes a long way. You know, if you have comfort to where you say, hey, you're writing these issues, have at it. You know, I trust you. You know, you're not going to show me in a bad light, all that kind of stuff. Nobody's ego is going, no, I've got to be the center of the attention. It's got to all about be my character, or I'm pulling out. So guys are really good about that.
Yeah, I agree. We kind of entrusted Carlos to write we did trust him. We trusted him to write the first script, and you wrote the script for 1 and 2. And I think that was a game changer, being able to put, kind of that faith into one another. Like, okay, and anybody can answer this question. What do you think? What process do you think makes Power Company different and a success compared to other projects? And I know some of the things I think, but I'm just kind of interested in hearing some of you talk about it. Like, what stands out to you that's like, this is the reason why this works, and viewers take into consideration all right, Fish, because we need to get you in here anyway. Take into consideration that there is. Go ahead, Fish. Go ahead.
I think the big thing that makes a difference between this and a lot of other projects that people talk about is this one's getting done. Period.
Yeah.
Like Rodney said, nobody's fighting over ego, and my character has to be the one to shine the most. And which is the thing that always scared me off of joining in on anything when people would ask me for stuff like that, because I was like, I don't have a big ego, but I'm the only artist I've ever met that doesn't. And so I was like, I don't want to deal with any of that nonsense. And I work really hard, like on the Power Company now, I'm working really hard to try and make sure that everybody gets some time to shine and we get to see aspects of characters. And I'm kicking myself that I don't have an extra 20 pages to work with to get all the stuff I put in there. But the simple fact that it's getting done and it's on the 3rd book now, that speaks a lot to people out there that are reading and following along, that, there's probably going to be another one and another one after that, where a lot of these projects are a whole lot of talk and then never happen.
Right.
So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think that that's number one, that it's getting done. So that's the big thing. Roy, what's some of the stuff that happens behind the background that you think is different that makes this machine work? Like the process that you guys go through, that we went through, some of the different things that happen behind the scenes that make this machine run.
Well, I don't think there's anybody in the group that expects it to happen by magic. Like, oh, we've got a great idea and now we're done. Like, we realize that there's work that has to be done to, not to be too capitalistic about it, but to get a product out, to physically, create one of these things that people will read. You have to button down and do the work, and everybody sort of has a role. They stepped up and Carlos kind of shepherds the whole thing along in a way. And, Eric wrote issue 3, and he's going to write issue 4, and Rodney and I think are doing 5 and 6. And everybody recognizes that there is work to be done to get the comic across the finish line and to run a Kickstarter in order to get it out into the world. And we're not just sort of sitting there going, we sure do have nice characters, let's draw pretty pictures. Like, it's real, right? We recognize that the work needs to get done, and then we do it. Yeah, that's I think probably different than 99% of the the people that have a great idea, let's get together, and then, you know, maybe nobody wants to devote the time to it, or they all squabble amongst themselves because my guy's got to be on the cover, or whatever it is. Like, we're recognizing this work and we're stepping up and doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's big. And like you said, the roles. That was something that was early on that we wanted to establish. I remember being like, yo, let's all take roles in this, where we're not all over the place, and this person kind of be over this, and this person kind of be over this. And like you said, Carlos, you know, kept the, what you say, what's the word you use? Shepherd us along, kept us going, kept us,
Yeah.
and like I said, he does such a good job of marketing. And that's
that's the most critical thing, is that it doesn't matter how good the book is if nobody knows it exists. You've got to get the eyes on it, and you can showcase art and whatever, but people have to know about it, right? So that's
just posting a cool picture isn't going to get people buying the book.
Yeah,
it takes a special skill set to get that out and get people's eyes on it, and that's where, like, I enjoy the part that I do. I'm not that good at the other parts. I need other people to do the other stuff.
Yeah, it's all about knowing
that video, Fish. That probably added a good $1,000. At least that's how I see it. That video you did for us right towards the end, that carried the numbers skyrocketed after you did that. So it definitely had a huge impact.
Yeah,
we're a circus, and Carlos is the ringmaster.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. You know, you got to give props where props are due, and Carlos has always been strong at that. But let's not, you know, Roy. Whenever there was those times that we were all kind of, you know, not as hot as we should be, not on a roll, Roy would be the one to comment in the group chat and be like, "Yo, so what's up? Is everyone doing their jobs?" And I can remember, you know, and I want the viewers to know, you know, we're talking about it like it's a well-oiled machine, which it is, but we've all, you know, there's been times where
we've had arguments.
Yeah, we've had arguments. It's not all, you know, and that's the thing people got to know. And anytime you get a group of people, we live in different states or countries, or, you know, we have different backgrounds, different things, stuff going on. There's going to be tension sometimes. There's going to be disagreements. There's going to be, but I think what's nice is, for the most part, able to move past those. And I think what's key in that situation is, from day one, we've always had a voting system.
Yeah.
No matter.
Well, I guess the other thing is that we, you know, in other groups or whatever, real life happens and gets in the way and does whatever. But I think we've all at least recognized that, and then carved out part of my hobby or professional life, or whatever you want to call it, is going to be Power Company.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to devote some amount of time to getting that shit done.
Yeah.
Right. Where it's not just, this is fun and let's have characters, and, you know, it's like, that's true, but we're focused on
the business,
accomplishing something, right? Like creating something, getting it done. And I don't know, perfection is the enemy of the good, or whatever. Like, you're never going to 100% agree, or you're never going to have the perfect comic that's going to transform everyone's life. You're going to have a hopefully solid piece of entertainment, and it doesn't happen by magic. You have to work on it, right? And I think we've all kind of recognized that, and aren't just, it sure would be nice to make a comic kind of thing, right?
Right. Yeah, and like you were saying, I think what was nice about it is we're all, or I say we're because, you know, in my heart, no matter what, if I'm in the group or I'm not in the group, I left and come back, you know, Power Company is always going to have a place in my heart. I talk to each one of you guys every day. You know what I mean? Yep. So it's like, it's always gonna have a place in my heart. I'm always gonna support you guys any way I can. That's why I knew, I was like, let's get you guys all on here, and then I plan on having all of you on here, individuals. Some of you already have, so you know I'm supporting it either way. The biggest thing is not only is Power Company just our bread and butter? Like, Roy, you're constantly putting out your own stuff. So you know what it takes to get stuff done. Rodney, he has his own stuff that he's putting out constantly. So he knows what what it takes to get stuff done. Carlos has got his stuff out. We're still waiting on Dan and Eric to put out solo books for those.
Where's my Steel Wolf book?
We want Steel Wolf and
That's what I'm saying.
Bro.
I have been pushing for the Steel Wolf book for a long time.
We need them.
It's a crime at this point.
When one of you guys
I'm
plants
worried
a
about
money
being
tree
able
in
to
my yard, then we'll talk.
Well,
money's a big part of it, and I'm not good with Kickstarter like Roy is. Like Roy is the master.
Kickstarter.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Oh, Roy.
Here's the thing. Roy, I've came to you plenty of times, haven't I? For stuff. Like, hey, can you help me with this? That's the beautiful thing. Tap into the resources you have here. There's plenty of resources right here, right now in this chat. And you guys work together all the time that you can tap into and ask, yo, how, Dan, for you, Roy, help me out with something. I'm sure Roy would have no problem helping you because anything that gets.
I'm definitely tapping him to help me with my next Kickstarter for the book I'm working on. He's done enough of them now, and like I made stupid mistakes when I did my first one, and just having somebody that knows what they're doing to help me out with that is awesome. And I call on Eric all the time. Like I'll be lettering Sentinel's book, and send him a page, and I'm like, hey, like this doesn't look right to me. What do I need to do? What do I need to fix?
Yeah. Roy said he'll be right back.
To get out there, Fish. That is so good. That book is going to be so awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. Of course, now I'm already starting to worry about it, but like Roy said, it's better to get it out there and then get the next one and make it better and make the next one better than to sit there and hold on to this one and it never gets published because I'm waiting to make it perfect. It ain't never going to be perfect.
Yeah,
so
but
get it out there.
It's pretty close to it, bro.
Hey, did Roy just become a Pokemon ball?
Yeah, he said he had. He said he had to go for a minute.
Touch up my makeup.
He's so rare. Somebody finally bought him.
Product placement.
Yeah.
Power Company, sponsored by Diet Pepsi.
Attaboy.
Oh man.
Attaboy.
Power on. No.
There you go.
I can just picture the commercial. One of the characters. Anytime I'm gonna power on.
Speaking of the commercial merchandise part, nice shirt, Carlos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, your artwork's being done down south, so it's being fueled by sweet tea. That's all I got to say.
There we go. There we go.
Steel Wolf, Thunder Woman, and Midnight Owl right here.
Oh yeah, that's sick, bro. I like that shirt.
Yep.
So okay? So issue 2 of Power Company. When can the people get it? When is it?
It could already be available, but it took a month. Rodney put it up a month ago. And the American Revere just popped in. Was it last night or the day before? So
Day before. So it should be any day.
Okay. I'm
and
excited
it was
to get my
available
hands.
on the Power Company 3 Kickstarter as well. So,
And so let's just talk about that for a second. The process of Kickstarters for Power Company. I mean, issue 1, we hit our goal. Issue 2, the first time we missed the goal. We revamped, came back collectively, passed the goal. This past Kickstarter, I mean, boom, right? You guys hit the biggest money that you've hit thus far. What do you think contributes to that? What did you guys do differently for Kickstarter 3 to make, and I'm not, Fish, I see you smiling like, oh,
hey, I want to listen. I want to know because I want to do better than I did
Fish
on my
was
last.
like, oh, that's because they knew that the Mac Daddy Fish Lee was doing the art. No, I'm just kidding. But no,
Hey, the last 2 books I had worked on got like projects we loved on Kickstarter. I'm pretty proud of that. If I could make a little plaque hanging on the wall, I would.
You should be. You should get a plaque every time that happens.
You know what? Probably on this last one that I think really did it was one of the stretch goals that we put out there was Roy in a Speedo and just a Speedo.
Oh, absolutely.
That pinup, that was
More
the key.
style.
People wanted to see that, and they pushed it through. They wanted to make sure it happened. So thanks, Roy.
People have spoken.
Yeah.
Carlos, you were talking about Fish's video. Why don't you?
Yeah, so that was big. The Fish's videos, we're still doing well. But we were inching towards the goal. And then
Mhm.
Fish came out with that absolutely brilliant video with the voiceovers and everything. And then whoop,
Yeah,
it just took off. And it's like, whoa, all of a sudden, Dan, because Dan was kind of like our unofficial he was keeping track of the little goals that we were hitting, and then I'd wake up in the morning and then look, and he's like, we're at this, and it's like, holy crap, we are.
Yeah.
But that really coincided with Fish's video, because one of the things that we made the mistake of not doing was to have a video this time, which I don't know if that was just an oversight on our part, but because they always tell you got to have a video for your
There's a positive correlation between funding and having a video.
Yeah.
Even though I never watch anybody's unless it's a Kickstarter for making movies, and hardly anybody ever finishes any of mine. Like you get the little statistics when you run a Kickstarter of how many people viewed and clicked on or whatever. So it's like it's important to have, but it almost doesn't matter what's in it.
Yeah,
in a way.
I think it kind of
are so bad too. Oh,
I think it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, they care about they care even more about their project.
I think so. And the thing is, like, quote unquote, running a Kickstarter is the easy part is setting up the page. That doesn't mean anything. That's copy and paste and stick some rewards in. It's trying to garner excitement of the release of the book as a big event, right? Like Carlos will talk about them being, it's it's a collector's item or it's a one of a kind or whatever. And those are the kind of things is having events and having like live videos. Like we did a live, what was it? Like a kickoff video for the launch, right? And it's like treating it like a party or an event that, people are into. And what typically happens is, you get a spike of people backing on day one, and then it kind of levels off for the next couple of weeks and you get a little spike at the end. Yeah. So getting that interest up in the middle of it is stuff like putting in a video, like particularly when you've got an artist that can sort of record their process from sketch to quote unquote pencils, quote unquote inks, colors, and whatever. That's an exciting, interesting behind the scenes thing that people like to see, right? So it's garnering the interest is the hard part. That's easier said than done.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and I think if anything, last year, people have kind of became even more creative with that, right? You can't go to cons anymore, that sort of thing to get. So I think you've seen more people being more creative with things. Because if I'm not mistaken, Kickstarter made the most money that it has ever made last year, correct? I mean, it was big last year.
But comics are like are among the highest have the highest success rates on Kickstarters. Like something like 50%, like 50% of them or something will fund, and a lot of other things are just complete hit or miss. Except like I think tabletop games are often a big, huge moneymaker. But in terms of actually getting your goal,
nuts on Kickstarter. Like you see the Kickstarter for the Lord of the Rings RPG, how much that went through. It's crazy. RPG stuff is crazy. You want to make money, you get into RPGs because they're like
that's why John Jones should be here.
CCG with John, that's been going really well. The WT3 games, the Clash of the Champions Indieverse. John's been really working hard on that, and we keep track of the Kickstarters that have that type of product. and it's insane. It's like 500,000 more, some like 800,000, and they're new. It's not like this is something that's been around forever. These are just it boggles my mind. So that we have something that's being played right now and demoed, and Rodney's been demoing it and refining it with John. But it's and to hold it in your hand was also, it was like holding your comic. We're really excited about that, and in the fall we're going to launch the Kickstarter for that. But yeah, that's those games, those card games, the numbers are just through the roof.
Sorry. Yeah. That's I've looked. I've been following you a little bit on that, and so are you letting just creators hop in on that, or when you run the Kickstarter, or is it just like
starter? Right. The main characters are mine, Rod, and John's, and that's
okay.
The starter decks and the boosters are our characters.
Okay.
Now, come Kickstarter time, then we're going to create a booster set where other people can get their own characters in.
Nice.
And
cool.
And then we'll keep that limited. We still haven't figured out what that's going to be, but each Kickstarter we're going to limit the number of decks from everyone else. But our character is going to be the driving force. And then as it is the Indieverse, the word is in that.
Yeah.
We're going to be bringing in others. So we'll hopefully have a Thunder Woman in that set, or a Steel Wolf, etc.
Nice.
But yeah, it's really exciting, and can't wait for that launch.
Yeah, I agree. It sounds real interesting. It sounds like I'm for sure you're for sure get enough people who's interested. And it's funny that you say that, because Rodney, for one, Roy, Eric, all of you guys on here, you guys have so many characters. I mean, Rodney, I know you've put out an encyclopedia. Roy, you're running a current Kickstarter, correct? For an encyclopedia.
Handbook.
Okay. Handbook. Eric, do you have something similar as well, right?
I did a handbook of the Deviation Nation. It was my own characters mixed in with a whole bunch of characters from DVR. 4 issues of that, over 200 and some odd pages long total.
Yeah, those first 3 covers on that were amazing. I mean, they were straight out of Marvel Universe. I mean, that was incredible.
Ken Clark, yep, the man is awesome.
Dan, did you know you and Roy both have your guys' mics muted? I don't know if you knew that you did that, or if you did that intentional.
I know.
Okay. Okay, I didn't know, because Roy, when you went to say something, I couldn't hear what you said, and I was like, maybe it was something on my end, but it was your mic muted. So that's cool. It's all right. That was my son coming in from the trampoline, wondering on what we have going on in here. Kids, right? Roy's favorite thing.
Yeah, he wants us to sell them so that we can use the money to make more comics.
They can be put to work in the mines.
Well, mine's old enough now.
When Roy mutes his mic, it's like a gag ball. See, that's what it is. He's he's into that freaky stuff.
Oh man, you guys. All right. So, what can we see moving forward? Power Company. What? Even if it's individual stuff, I'll let Fish. We know what you got going on, but how excited are you to hopefully just be that permanent artist for Power Company?
Oh man, that would be cool. It's got some of my favorite characters on there, and I mean, I love Steel Wolf. I would rather be working on a Steel Wolf book of its own, but until we can do that, I love getting the chance to work with Steel Wolf. I love getting to put Crimson Streak in there because I get to work with him all the time, and I'm loving him as a character more and more as it goes on, and getting to draw wild stuff with Metal Morph, getting to draw a Killer Whale, has been fun, and just, I just really enjoy making him a powerhouse. And Thunder Woman's always fun to draw. I think she's getting based more and more off of my wife as time goes on. She's just very healthy proportions, let's say.
I was wondering, with the Kickstarter, it seems that those busty type pinups seem to draw in a lot of money. And Dan, you've done some ones with Thunder Woman. I'm surprised that you guys haven't, tapped into that resource for the Kickstarters.
There's been talk about a swimsuit issue.
Really? Okay. But in all fairness, we do make, Power Company's meant more to be that kind of fun Saturday morning cartoon type book to where kids can pick up and read as well. So I can understand kind of not wanting to, maybe being hesitant on that.
Not go too far with it.
Right. Eric, you're currently writing. You wrote issue 3. I know me and you kind of brainstormed the concept for issue 3 together.
Right, we plotted it out,
Yeah. And you wrote issue 3, and you'll be working on issue 4 as well, correct? Do you have a co-writer on that, or is that just going to be you?
Well, Fish has been helping me here wrap up issue 3. There's been a few pages that I've needed a little assistance on, and he's always great for giving ideas, and he's been helping out. And then issue 4 will probably work the same way.
Nice. So
why fix it if it ain't broke?
Fish took my spot as co-writer, and I wouldn't have picked anyone better, man. That's good. Fish
I got another one of those juicy spots like Roy did, where it's like, okay, there's 4 pages of action, and I love that. Except I want to put like 15 pages of action in there, and trying to pick like how much can I fit on the page, and if I squeeze too much, then none of it looks as awesome as if I just put a couple of points. And man, I wanted to hit on so many things. But ultimately, like, I can only fit so much stuff in 4 pages.
Yeah. We joked about making it a 3-issue arc instead of 2.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been awesome. Oh,
yeah.
right.
Yeah. With that storyline, I think you could definitely get more, squeeze more issues out of it. It's kind of, and Power Company 1, I think, was probably the hardest because you're trying to showcase all these characters for the first time together. And, when you're reading through Power Company 1 and we was all trying to put in our dialogue, because I can remember, we got the pages and we're trying to, piece together our dialogue in there. And you seen Expendables 1? You guys remember, have you ever seen that movie, Expendables 1? Where it was kind of like they added in some dialogue just for they could get to Jet Li real quick and make sure he had enough screen time. And, you had all these big actors who were part of this movie. So they're like kind of like making sure they all get their due. I mean, when writing something with so many powerhouses, that's definitely something you have to consider, right?
Mm-hmm.
Issue were not easy to write, but Rodney was kind of like the unofficial co-writer of that. Because we would spend on the phone sometimes up to 4 or 5 hours going through everybody's dialogue and kind of deciding which stuff stays, which stuff has to go, and just trying to introduce this whole new world while trying to make it even remotely make sense. It was not easy, but I do want to thank Rodney for helping out with that, because we spent a lot of hours on the phone going through that script for issue 1 and 2.
And it's not just the 8 characters of Power Company. We also had 8 villains. So you've got 16 main characters on there. That sounds great in theory, and then you realize, oh wait, they all got to be accounted for. You've got to keep track of where they are, who they're talking to,
that they go to, and where is this person when you turn.
So that Rodney and Carlos could get through that and make it a coherent story.
It was tough, because if we would have left everybody's lines in there, you wouldn't have seen any art. It just would have been chat bubbles everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I can remember that it was a little crowded, and we were lucky enough to have you two kind of cipher through that and pick what was necessary, what wasn't necessary. And for a lot of us, I think at one point I thought Power Company was going to come out before FiveStar 1, which it didn't. FiveStar 1 came out first. But, we're like, yo, this is our first chance to get our characters out there. You know what I mean? Like, we got to, Roy, you said that was your characters, both your characters' first time also, right? Being in a book.
Yep.
So we, maybe we had a little bit of, we're like, I want to showcase, them a little more. But it's nice to have the group that can kind of reel it back in, have Rodney and Carlos on top of that, kind of, decipher what should stay, what should go. And it's nice to have partners that you can respect. It's nice to have partners who are not just in it for themselves, partners who, we just want to see all the characters succeed. I know for me, it was encouraging right off the rip. I didn't pick FiveStar to be the leader or nominate him to be the leader at first. It was actually, some of you guys who were like, hey, let's make FiveStar the leader of this thing. And it was nice to have that reinforcement and that encouragement from you guys. And I think that's big. Nobody gets upset when Metamorph is having the cool team up. He's known for having, and so far the issues because of his power, he has those cool team up scenes, and he shared one with different characters, and it's nice to be part of a group that's okay with that. You know what I mean? It's not an issue.
Tony, that's the big thing. That's why we succeeded, is the fact that you brought it up earlier, and I wanted to expound on that. The democracy of this group. Everybody's got a vote, and we move forward until we have the vote. And I've had ideas that got voted down, but that's the beauty of this group, but is that nobody boo-hoos and throws a fit and says, I want my way. If you throw it out there, we vote. If it's voted in, awesome. Then move on. If it doesn't, we don't throw hissy fits. We just continue on and say, better luck next time.
Yeah. And that's one of the things with that is that whenever we do reject ideas, we don't insult them. We don't insult them. We don't insult the creator. It's just we rationalize it. And it's like, I'm not sure about this, and here's kind of why. It's like, or this thing's not really working for these kind of reasons. What do you guys think? And we discuss it. We work together on it. We just don't go, well, that thing sucks. No, we don't do that.
Yeah. How has Metamorph not turned into a megaphone for Killer Will to scream through it yet? What happened here? Where's that team?
Hey, well, Rodney. I mean, you're writing. You and Roy get to write issue 5 and 6, so I think you just maybe gave a spoiler.
It'll all be Killer Whale and Crimson Streak.
Yeah, that's right.
The rest of them
we already talked about it.
They'll use Metamorph primarily as a tray, and they'll bring drinks out to the other
serving dish.
But Rodney, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but Rodney has sort of a concept for 5 and 6 that sounds kind of interesting, and I've already got some ideas spinning there. But coming back to kind of what Carlos was saying in a way is that I think because we all recognize this is a team book, you're not going to get 5 pages featuring your character. Your characters are narrative tools in a story, and they're all there to be used in different ways. And as long as each character gets like a scene where they're key and 2 or 3 lines in it that reveal their character and their actions are consistent with it, then that's kind of the best you can expect in a team book with so many characters.
I agree.
Right? As long as the way whatever Metamorph and Crimson Streak interact, or the way Steel Wolf and FiveStar interact is consistent with both their characters, and the characters are well drawn enough. I don't want to say it almost writes itself, but it pushes that scene in a certain direction that would be completely different with 2 other characters. So I often find that once you've figured out a character to a point where they don't feel real, but they feel like they're well developed enough and nuanced enough that, well, they're not going to agree with what that other character said. They're going to argue with them. They're going to say this and they're going to do that. And this one's going to be hot headed and this one is going to be cool and calm. And it helps
This
you
was-
figure out where the story goes next, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with. I mean that makes a lot of sense. And we had people in Power Company 1, people who read the book that was like, I wish we kind of got to know more about the characters. But like you said, it's hard to do that in a book with so many characters. And this is supposed to give you that, action packed feel to it. We're bringing all the big dogs in, but in a sense, it's kind of nice because we can say, well, you're getting a piece of this character. Refer to this book, and having our own individual projects. They can go back
Sure.
and refer, and they can find out more that they more about Crimson Streak, or find out more about Killer Whale, or find out more about FiveStar than what they're getting in the team book.
At the same time, like a book has to breathe, right? It has to ebb and flow.
Yeah,
It can't be wall to wall action with no character interaction.
exactly.
And you can't have these painful modern deconstruction comics that is like 5 pages of 2 characters sitting in a room talking to each other, where it's clearly one panel photoshopped into 15 individual panels with maybe someone turns their head like this, and they're they're going for this cinematic whatever. Comics aren't movies. Comics are comics, and every medium has a different set of rules and strengths and weaknesses, right? So you have to, you've got to kind of balance everything out so that the story is king. The story is kind of driven, in my view, by the villain and whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
And you have to find a way to make the heroes keeping the status quo not seem like douchebags. The status quo is you're not going to get stepped on by the giant robot. The status quo isn't you're going to be one of the 99 percenters forever kind of thing, right? Like you've got to, they're the good guys, and you don't want to get, I think some superhero comics get bogged down with here's the fight scene, but why are they fighting? They're fighting to protect this group of people over here in the orphanage or whatever. They're the heroes are the bulwarks, the things standing between the danger and the people who can't protect themselves, right? So,
right. Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff to juggle in terms of writing it and drawing it to tell a coherent story that's interesting, but doesn't skimp on the action, but doesn't have no quiet character moments. Like things have to, so like Eric is kind of putting some more, I think, character driven scenes in 3 and 4, right? Than a little bit. So it's a little more, we have to balance.
Why don't you tell them a little bit of what we talked about on the plans for 5 and 6?
Me?
Yeah.
So Rodney's basic idea was essentially like so Power Company is a group of heroes from across the multiverse. Everybody's from a different parallel Earth. Mine is the best Earth because in my Earth, the original Star Trek ran for 5 glorious seasons, and the Beatles never broke up. So this creates a utopia. But the idea is, okay, what's our new multiversal threat? What can be happening here? And the idea is that maybe we'll set it in World War II, and you've got the ultimate bad guy. Hitler's got some kind of plan to something. And the team has to sort of go to, none of our worlds, but another, Earth, Googleplex or whatever, and stop Hitler from winning the war or whatever through his race of genetic supermen. And, I'm already kind of thinking like, well, Crimson Streak, the idea I think was Professor Bizarre will outfit everyone in period appropriate costumes. So we could kind of get to redesign costumes for like 1940. And I'm thinking for Crimson Streak, it's like one of those little aviator caps and goggles.
That's going to be awesome.
And he takes it off without thinking because, who cares about our secret identities or whatever, right? And of course, he's Chinese. So in World War II, in America, that may attract some attention. Who knows? And, Thunder Woman's kind of brown. And there's that suspicious Rusky guy over there. I guess they're allies at that point. But, so there's
But are they
There's
really?
possibility to, you get the main clash of the fight with the bad guys, whatever that's going to work out to be. And then without getting heavy-handed, you've got sort of social. It was a little different.
Yeah.
81 years ago, and maybe it was the greatest generation, but maybe there was some racism.
Oh yeah,
or whatever, right? So that was kind of the idea broadly for 5 and 6.
Okay. That sounds interesting, and I think it'll be fun for you guys to redesign your characters, with costumes. And I know Fish is excited about that. Is there any idea when the Kickstarter for 4 will be taking place? Is that in plan for this year? Oh, caught him off guard. Nobody knows. That's okay. That's all right. Hey,
I don't know. What month is this? Is it still January? What is
yeah.
April?
That's okay.
We're still popping the champagne cork on 3. So
okay,
and just happy that Fish is going to be on it. That we made enough that we get to keep him for 4, and then my hope is that we get to keep him for the entire rest of this. I don't want have to deal with another artist.
I agree.
If
you want to get somebody in who knows the characters, and hopefully the team that you guys have now can stay in and be in multiple issues of Power Company. I know I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys come out with collectively and a solo. I mean, just know that you have a fan here for your solo works and your joint efforts. And it was awesome having you guys on the show, man. I'm glad that we was all able to get on here and kind of chop it up for the first time, all of us in this kind of setting. It was fun. If anybody got anything that they want to leave the people with?
Yeah,
I want to say.
I still want to give a shout out to Henry Eshelman, to Mike Spagnola, and to John Jones, the guys who couldn't make it.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
And also, we've had the discussion of 3 and 4. We've had the discussion of 5 and 6. And wait till you see what Dan and John have planned for 7 and 8.
Oh yeah,
okay.
Very special.
We've got stuff laid out, so we know where we're going.
Nice. I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Fish, I'm going to really push you with the stuff I've got planned for. I'm going to really push you on this one. We're going to just see how far you can go with some of your art.
I'll surprise you, I think.
Roy, what about you, buddy? You got anything?
Back my Kickstarter.
Yeah. Back the Kickstarter.
So there's the Backer's Handbook is I think it's got 12, 13 days to go. There's still room for characters and creators to get in on it. So yeah,
get on there. Put the later on. We'll come through and we'll answer some of these questions that were on the chat. And Roy, you can drop your link in there. And we'll also drop the link for Power Company issue 1 and hopefully issue 2 if it's ready whenever. You said in a couple of days we can drop that in there. Rodney, you got anything you want to leave the people with?
Yeah, I'm actually my wife is working on her first comic. My wife and partner in Iron Gate Comics.
Nice.
So American Alliance, the first 5 pages are almost done. Probably maybe in the summer we'll launch the Kickstarter for that. And so I'm excited because we would do all these shows together and she'd be like, you did most of the work on this. I feel funny, I'm signing these books because I'm in it, but I don't feel like, and so I told her, I said, all right, this one's going to be yours. I said,
nice.
In fact, I'm not even editing it. Alan Silverwood's going to be the editor for her. We're just I'm letting her do it. It's her baby. I'm just kind of helping, here and there. But so she's pretty excited about that. I'm excited for her. So it's an all-female superhero group.
Sweet.
And
nice.
You got a former Marvel editor on it. That's
nice.
And
Alan's a great guy. He's done a couple shows with us at cons and stuff. He's local. He lives in the area. So nice. I'm pretty fortunate that to have him available for us. So
that's nice. Awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Fish, we know you are cranking away on that beautiful project that we're all excited to see. We got to showcase it a little bit last week. Is there anything that you want to leave the people with?
I'm working on Power Company now. I've got some other things in the works after that. I'm still working on my own book, Green Zone. I'm trying to force out a day a week. I made a promise to my wife I would do that and spend one day a week working on my own stuff, so it doesn't end up being projects on the back burner forever. But so hopefully it'll be ready to go to Kickstarter.
Busy. I like it. I love it. Everybody's staying busy.
Off today. They're so good.
And it won't be too long, and me and him's gonna be cranking out FiveStar issue 4. We're already got that set up, so we're gonna be cranking that out. I'm excited for it. I just want to tell everybody who stuck with us and hung out with us, thank you for joining us today. Next week, I have 2 female guests that are going to be on the show for our Unsung Hero edition. 2 people here local in my town who do so much for the community, and I'm excited to get them on here. Guys, it has been a pleasure, like I said, having you all on here. I'm looking forward to everything you put out, and I think that's all, guys. We're going to wrap it up. All right. I'll catch you guys later. And we're signing out. Here we go. Boom.
Bye.